Okay, so welcome back to the channel and to another video on the Ford Ranger pickup. In the last video we took the bed off and cleaned everything up and had a good look at how rusty it really was, and obviously it's a lot worse than we thought. Now this chassis is kind of at a point where if somebody else asked me to do this I probably would refuse. It's not really worth repairing, and it certainly wouldn't be worth charging my time to repair it. But because I'm doing it myself, and obviously I don't charge per own labour, so I'm going to get this done. But also doing it for somebody else, there is a safety concern. It's slightly different for me because I service my own vehicle, so I'm underneath it all the time and I can keep an eye on it, and I know what to look for because I know what the issues are. But if somebody else was having it and it was just repaired and they just drove it as normal and serviced it, then you're not going to keep as close an eye on it. This chassis, I mean, it will be fine once it's repaired, but it isn't going to last forever. We have priced up a new chassis at Ford's, and that came out about 4,000, I think, £4,000, something around there, which is a lot of money, and we only paid just over that for the Jeep. But it kind of is worth it because this doesn't have any AdBlue and the problems of the later cars. But that's something we'll look at later on once I've got the new garage and I've got more room, more time. Hopefully we'll look into doing that, but at the moment I just need to get it back on the road. So we're going to get on and do the repairs. So this front corner that I showed you in the last video, we're going to do that first. We're not going to cut both corners out because that would weaken the chassis too much. So just going to do one side at a time, then do the other side, and then do the back. So I'll show you the one side. I probably won't show you the other side unless there's something major involved in it, but basically it's going to be the same both sides. So get that one side done and then we'll get the back end done. Once that's done, we need to replace the other bits and pieces that need sorting out, and then we'll take it for the MOT. So we won't mess around, we'll just get straight onto it. If you are enjoying these videos, please do like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. The last video seemed to be quite popular, and hopefully the channel will start growing a bit more. But we'll get on now, get on and do this. Thank you. Okay, so this is going to be the first fairly conservative cut. I mean, this is pretty solid here, but it's gone all the way across the top here. It's gone to about here, but I'm going to cut it here for a second just to explore what needs to be done. I'm going to cut it down there, cut it across here. Obviously this all needs cleaning out. I mean, there's loads of rubbish in here, so I'm going to cut all this out, cut this frame piece out here, but leave the top where it is, and then hopefully I'll be able to get that out. So cut all this out first and go from there. Hopefully it's solid to here and solid to here, and then I can just weld that piece in and then do something with this bit up here as well. And so that'll be the first bit. So I'll cut that out now and bring it back. So the first lot is cut out now. I think you can see in places here that I started cutting it down here, but it's actually really thick here. This is the piece that came out from there. And I think you see the metal is like 2.5 mil thick. Obviously there's a weld seam here which is making it look a bit thicker than it actually is, but this is solid, this is all solid. And I've taken this piece out here, so just need to give this a good clean out now, get rid of all this rubbish that's inside the chassis, and then start putting it back together. There is a reinforcement that was in here, but we'll get that welded back in. Okay, so I'm going to start putting this side back together, and this is the first piece that's going to go in. It's a piece of 50mm box section. Now the original plan was I've got a piece of 100mm box section which I was going to just cut an L shape out of and put it in there, but I think that was 120mm, so it's too big. So this piece of 50mm I've cut to the shape here. It's a little tight here, but I'm going to tack it in there and push it in and pull it together. There's a slight gap, but that should be fine because that's fairly thick here, and then this just needs welding across there. So that will give it a bit of strength. There was also a strengthener in that went across here, which I will also put in. But by doing this, then the piece of 100mm box section will be big enough, so I'll just cut an L shape out of that and then weld that other piece in once this is in there. So get this tacked in first and then measure up for the next piece. Okay, so it got a bit late last night, got a bit dark to carry on filming, and the battery ran out. I hadn't actually noticed anyway. So we've got this piece of box section welded in at the bottom, that's all solid. Cut this piece to suit and welded this little piece into the top here, so that's all welded in. I was going to try and do that all in one bit, but it just wasn't worth the bother. Put these screws on this plate just to help hold it whilst placing it, and put a couple of screws in the top and then stitch weld it on the top, and then this needs to be seamlessly welded. So that'll be the next job now, just to get this all welded up, take these screws out, clean everything up, replace this reinforcement for the body mount, or the tub mount, and that's this pretty much done. Just give it a good clean up and a bit of a paint, and that should be fine. So we'll just carry on with that now. Okay, so that's all the metalwork welded in, seamlessly welded across the top. Round this piece back a bit, so left that one because that's the seam that's exposed anyway. All the rest of it pretty much ground flush now. Left this here because that's a welded seam anyway, and again ground these flush. So just need to reinforce this body mount, and then that's this bit done. So just get on and do that now. Okay, so I got this finished off late last night. This side is basically all done, bar for a little piece under here, which I can't get to until the spring's off, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to jack it up until it's all sort of reinforced. Not massively happy with the way this turned out, but it is strong. I should have planned that a bit better really, but it's okay. I mean, it's just holding the tub on anyway. Got those two little plates in up the top there, and obviously put some paint on it just to protect it from the rain, because I live in Wales. So obviously it's white and black at the moment. It's just a couple of hand cans that I had left, but this will all be rubbed down once it's all finished. It'll all be rubbed down and painted all black, so that'll be okay. So today I'm just going to crack on and get the other side done, Won't bother showing you that because it's going to be a repeat of this side, and then we'll bring you back when I'm sorting out that back end. Okay, so that's the second side done, pretty much a carbon copy of the other side, except that the mount here was completely rotten on this one. So I removed it completely, made up this just a fairly basic jig. So 20mm pin sits in there with a big flange nut on it just to hold it in place and make sure it was level. Stuck that on and then welded the jig up. It's only tacked onto the chassis leg, and then completely remade this. A lot happier with that one, so it's welded in nicely now. So a couple of little pinholes now on the actual chassis, and then I can get on and do the back. Okay, so the next major job will be to get this cross member out. To be honest, there's not much holding it in. Easy as that. So just need to clean up the chassis rails, then weld some plates in that side. This side doesn't look too bad. That side definitely needs a plate. This one might need a little plate, but we'll see once I've cleaned up the rest of it. So I'll just get on and do that. Okay, so I'll bring you in for a quick look and how we're getting on. So I've jacked the back up, put it on axle stands. I'm a lot more confident now that it can take the weight, because it really wasn't before. So obviously we started off looking like this after we took the cross member out. Just give it a quick clean with a wire brush, and then this side, cut all the rubbish out. So opened this up, cleaned it all up, cleaned all the old flanges off the old box section or the old cross member, and got this ready. Then I cut a side off a piece of that 100mm box section. It's got a lip on it this side, and then flat that side, and that's going to sit on there basically. So the lip will go underneath, because obviously most of this pressure will be from underneath, and it is solid, the chassis here, I've checked. So I'm going to weld that in there. The hole's a bit big around that mount for the axle, but maybe use a different size hole saw on the other side, but that'll go on there. And then when we put the box section, there'll be an extra lip that'll go over the top, and that will basically sandwich the two together. So next bit now, get these two plates on, clean the other side up, get the plate on there, and then get the box section ready. Okay, so that's the two plates welded in, all reinforced. So it's underneath, it's welded on like an L bracket almost, and then when the cross member sits on top and welds in, it will tie that all together. So they're nice and strong now, and next job we'll get this box section put in. It's getting a bit late now, so I'll show you that in the morning. Okay, so I got this box section piece welded in last night. It got very late on us, and I just put some paint on it just to stop it flash rusting, but it all needs a good rub down and properly being painted. But the difference between welding the good metal and the dirty metal, even though I cleaned this up as best I could, these welds much nicer. But it's in there, it's all solid and it's all good. So that's pretty much the repairs done. There's a few little pieces that shock absorbing mount needs sorting out, a couple of little pieces under the spring hangers at the front. Other than that, then it's all ready to go. So that's going to be about it for this video. So if you are enjoying these videos, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe, and there'll be some more videos coming shortly on this one. The next bit then will be to get this back end all built back up and sorted out. few bits for them for the MOT, and hopefully it'll be back on the road. So I'll see you again shortly on the next one. Thanks for watching.